What is up, everybody? Welcome into Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. I know I haven't seen you guys in literally forever. I haven't uploaded a video in 2026, but we are approaching the fantasy football season, so it's time to get the content going, and I am going to start pumping out videos like crazy because we have our redraft leagues coming up. Right? A lot of you are drafting as soon as the very beginning of next month. Some of you may have already drafted. Some of you maniacs should draft early. We also have another month and a half to draft our best ball teams. So I want to get you guys ready for the season. And in today's video, I'm going to be focusing on best ball to get things started. I have 5 targets that I think are going to be the biggest league winners in best ball. And so I just wanted to get you guys this content and make sure that you're drafting as much of these guys as possible until the season starts. All right, the first player on my list is going to be Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones is a guy who, you look at his career, over 5 yards a carry on a 1,000-plus carry sample size. The dude has been an incredibly efficient back over the course of his career. Obviously, the yards per carry efficiency was down a little bit last year, partially because, 2 reasons. One, he was dealing with injuries. Even when he's on the field, he wasn't really 100%. And most importantly, he had one of the worst quarterbacks we've seen in the NFL in quite some time in a rookie, J.J. McCarthy, leading the offense. If you have an absolutely terrible quarterback, it's going to cut into your efficiency. But look, they got Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a running threat. This is going to open up bigger running lanes for Aaron Jones. The yards per carry efficiency should return to form. The offense should be a lot better. J.J. is going to eat. This is going to create more touchdown opportunities for Aaron Jones. And yes, this is a split backfield. But if you look at the NFL now, everything's a split backfield, right? I mean, you don't have to be the only running back in your offense to produce. Aaron Jones is going to be a guy that's going to give you touchdown upside. He's going to give you good yards per carry efficiency. And most importantly, he's going to be involved in the passing game. Kyler Murray is going to need someone else to throw the ball to besides Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. You can't target your top 2 receivers on every play. Aaron Jones is going to get a decent target share out of the backfield, and we know this dude has the ability to run routes downfield and not just catch dump-off passes out of the backfield. I like the pass-catching upside. I like the touchdown upside. I think the yards per carry efficiency is going to bounce back. And if you look at where he's going in drafts, my gosh, this dude is going so late. I mean, I so often can get him as my running back 5 in best ball leagues. If I'm going wide receiver heavy, a lot of times I get him as my running back 4. But easily, if you look at this dude and you look at where he's going in the drafts and you look at the running backs that come after him, there is a massive teardrop after Aaron Jones goes off the board. That's why I'm grabbing him as much as possible as my running back 4 or running back 5 in best ball leagues. He's literally my most owned player on Underdog and one of my favorite targets in best ball this season. Next player on my list is going to be A.J. Brown. Now, if you look at A.J. Brown, you look at the past 3 seasons, right? 2023, you can go back all the way here and look that he had a 30.1% team target share in 2023. He had a 34.4% target share in 2024. The team wasn't passing as much that year, so he still didn't get as many passes thrown his way as a guy with that kind of target share would, just because the team was running the ball so much. But you look at last year, 29.5% team target share. The fact of the matter is, even though he wasn't getting the ball as much as he wanted to because of being the diva that he is, he still commands crazy targets. So I don't think there's any reason to believe that he will get less than a 28 to 30% target share in New England. And this is an offense that's going to be passing way more than Philadelphia. So if he carries over the target share percentage that he has in Philly and brings that over to New England, he's going to be seeing 10, 11 targets a game. This guy might average 10.5 targets a game in the New England offense. This is an offense that was very potent last year with Drake May as quarterback. I don't see why this offense couldn't absolutely explode again and be a top 6 or 7 offense in the NFL. They even probably have the upside to be a top 5 offense. I mean, that might be a little bit of a stretch, but it's certainly in the range of outcomes. So I don't see why A.J. Brown wouldn't absolutely dominate this year. This dude is going in the middle of the second round, massive steal. You look at years past, and this dude was going in the first round many years in the Philadelphia offense, where he was in an offense where they don't even pass the ball as much. And the reason he was going in the first round is because the talent level. He's A.J. Brown. He has great run after the catch abilities, great hands, great contested catch abilities. He commands targets. But now he has all those same things still in his athletic prime, going into an offense that could score way more than Philly. And honestly, is just going to pass the ball way more. I love A.J. Brown. He's a steal going in the middle of the second. Next player on my list is going to be my favorite target in best ball this season, and that's DJ Moore. Now, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on DJ Moore than I am my other players because he's my favorite pick in fantasy this year. So you look at DJ Moore, and first of all, he hasn't missed a game in 5 seasons. Pretty awesome. And then You look at the target share going all the way back to 2021. 162 targets in 2021, 2022, 118 targets, 2023, 136 targets, 2024, 140 targets, and then last year, only 85 targets. Massive fall off as far as the target share is concerned. This just goes to show that the team was kind of phasing him out. They wanted to focus on Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, and their other pass catchers, right? Luther Burden. And DJ Moore just kind of got phased out of the offense. This is okay. It's not because DJ Moore lacks talent or is falling off. He's still very young. A 29-year-old wide receiver is not an old wide receiver by any means anymore. He's still got plenty left in the tank. We're looking at the dude with all the athletic intangibles in the world. Runs a 4.2 40, incredibly big, strong, fast, runs good routes. This dude has more than enough capability to be the wide receiver one in the offense, and he's going to freaking Buffalo. How do people not understand how good this is? People have a terrible habit in fantasy of looking at what they saw last season and saying, hey, this is going to happen again. We saw it last year, but you got to take the larger sample, right? This dude has seen at least 115 targets 4 seasons in a row before the massive target share plummet last year. And now he's going over to Buffalo. Look what happens when Stephon Diggs came over to Buffalo. Stephon Diggs comes over to Buffalo in 2020 and has 166 targets after only having 93 the previous season. The next year, Diggs, 164 targets, et cetera, et cetera. He had over 150 targets every single year with Josh Allen. What do you think is going to happen to DJ Moore? They brought him in to be the alpha. This dude's going to absolutely explode. And if we saw him do something similar to what Stephon Diggs did when he came over to Buffalo, I would not be surprised whatsoever. DJ Moore is the biggest steal in fantasy this season and probably the best player that you can possibly pick. Next player on my list is going to be Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield's going off the board as the quarterback 19. This is absolutely wild. You look at just 2 seasons ago, 22.5 fantasy points per game, putting up MVP numbers. And 4,500 passing yards. And, you look at last season, and I think a big reason why Baker wasn't as good last year is because, Godwin was hurt pretty much all year, right? He was saved by Emeka Egbuka, kind of, just like going off as a rookie. But even Emeka Egbuka kind of fell off towards the second half. And then Mike Evans was on and off the field all season. The wide receiver room was just a mess. But if you look at this guy, you look at his years in Tampa, right? And he has proven that he's got great talent. This is a very good NFL quarterback. Doesn't give you a whole lot of rushing upside, but he does give you some rushing upside. 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns is not out of the question. And, with Chris Godwin starting the year healthy and working out of the slot, it's going to help the overall efficiency of the offense a lot. They picked up Ted Hurst, and, they still have Jalen McMillan. They have talented wide receivers. I don't see why Baker Mayfield couldn't put up awesome numbers this year in Tampa. I think the offense is going to be far better than what people think it is, and I think that Baker Mayfield is going to bounce back massively. I think going off the board as quarterback 19 is a massive steal. Next and final player on my list is going to be Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson last year, you look at the touchdown upside. This is what's big for me, right? Tight ends get a lot of their production through touchdowns. Jake Ferguson, 8 touchdowns last year, 102 targets, 7th in the league in targets, and he had 82 receptions. So, 82 receptions, right? He's number 3 in the league in receptions. This is a guy who is going to get crazy target share totals, crazy reception totals, and has crazy touchdown upside. And if you look at last year, for about the first half of the season, he was the tight end 1 for a while. I mean, this dude was absolutely going off, fell off a little bit in the second half. But if you look at the Cowboys offense, this is the number 2 projected offense in the NFL. They are supposed to be putting up points like crazy. So give me any tight end that's going to be the main focus at the tight end position in a given offense if they're supposed to be the number 2 offense in the league, and he's going to be targeted heavily in the red zone. These are my 5 biggest steals in best ball. It's great to be back with you guys. I'll catch you very soon. Later.